Hello and welcome back to SOVL. So as you can see, I got another goblin army to show you. This time it's after the update, so the trolls got regeneration, so that's very nice. And let me quickly go through this. So let's start off with the goblin shaman using a unit of goblin mob, and I gave an additional goblin mob unit over here, so it's 15 now. So and for his spells, he has Primal Fury and Hex Ruin, and that's it. Nothing else. So this let's go from left to right. So the trolls, they got they've got an additional model that I've collapsed the unit into, and I've given them great weapons, so that's 5 points per model as well. So that's 20 points additional on top of the already high cost of 4 trolls. I got the Orc Warriors, although this is only the normal standard unit, no upgrades on them whatsoever, so no two-handed weapons either. If you want to, you can replace the great weapons for the trolls with the two-handed weapons for the Orc Warriors. It's up to you. It's your choice what you want to do with that. So, and then we got the goblin spear mob to hold the front lines. So these two units, they're attacking, so they're offensive. You can hold the lines with them, or you can attack. But these two units with the goblin shaman and the goblin spear mob, both the retinue and normal one, they're just kind of there to basically defend the flanks. They're there to take charges. They're not actually charging anything. You don't want to be charging anything with them, because then they lose the spear ability that they got here, which allows them to attack with an additional rank in the back. So yeah, definitely don't attack with them. Let yourself be attacked with them instead, unless you're attacking something like really cheap units that you can win against anyway. So yeah, then we got the 2 goblin bolt throwers, which are just really cheap additions to force the enemy to kind of attack us and to deal with any heavily armored enemy units that they might have. The trolls do quite well, especially if you buff them up with Primal Fury, or you give a negative debuff to the enemies with the Hex of Ruin. But overall, you still want to kind of make use of the bolt throwers to soften up any heavy units that the trolls might have to fight, because the trolls don't have the best morale. So if they lose that, then they're not going to have a fun time. So yeah, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get right into the battle. Hello and welcome back. So unfortunately that didn't work out too well for me, but here we are anyway in this battle. And yeah, let's quickly begin. As you can see, we're playing against the Undead, and I'm currently just setting up my army. I really want the bolt throwers to be defended by the by the Orc Warriors, and this left flank I'm having the trolls, which are going to be supported by the spells from the shaman, and the two goblin spear mob units are just there to help hold down any sort of flanking units that might be coming after me. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just waiting, and this is when the battle begins. As you can see, the enemy's got a really interesting army makeup. They got a undead catapult. They got a large unit of zombies. They got an undead abomination or zombie giant, and they got some dread knights with a lord inside of that unit, and they got some dire wolves, which quite good for flanking. And yeah, the dread knights are really scary combined with the giant. So we'll see how this goes, won't we? So I immediately think about shooting them, but unfortunately I don't do that, because I think about maybe shooting them later when they move up closer to me. We'll see how well that works out. And yeah, also because I don't want to waste my shots, so I'm taking my time, that's for sure. As you can see, I move up the ordinary goblin spear mob to try to take some of the aggro maybe from the enemies. Try to look out to the sides so they can prevent any sort of cheeky flanks from coming in, maybe prevent myself from being charged by the enemies. So we'll see how well that goes. So just going to skip through this. As you can see, the enemies, they decided to basically they decided to basically move on to the side here, and that really screwed up my plan, because now my bolt throwers can't actually hit them. So that was a massive waste of my time. As you can see, thinking about using my bolt throwers, there's really nothing to be done here. So, and I'm currently just moving my units up slightly. Yep, there we go. Wonderful. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. So a bit unfortunate that the enemies have decided to flank us, but what are you going to do? So they're going to try to walk around and flank us from the other side of the building while staying away from my bolt throwers. So there's nothing I can do about that, but they do shoot their trebuchet at me. I got really lucky over here. I saved 3 of those. That's really, really lucky, especially for a unit of goblins, I guess. That's very, very lucky indeed. So that was quite lucky on my part, that's for sure. I've been thinking about what to talk about while talking about the replay over here, and yeah, I guess I could talk about in the Internet Archives, the place where you get a bunch of free stuff, books and things like that. So how that's going to happen, because they lost the lawsuit against some book companies and book publishers that basically wanted their money back because during the pandemic, the Internet Archive basically gave away a bunch of free copies of digital books, and yet those publishers and writers were not happy, so they sued them and they actually won. So that obviously opens up an entire can of worms, because there's a bunch of stuff on the Internet Archive, pretty sure there's song lyrics and stuff like that, so a lot of copyrighted material, and a lot of people are now going to be, they're kind of going to be like sharks smelling blood in the water. That's what's going to happen with the Internet Archive, unfortunately. So the enemies move up, so after they shot my goblins, they basically moved everything else up as far as they could. This point is being contested, so it's a bit unfortunate on my part that it's being contested, so I'm not going to be able to make full use out of it. So, no points for me and no points for the enemy, but we'll have to see what I mean. They're slowly moving up their direwolves on the far right, trying to move around me. So we'll see how well that goes, that's for sure. I really don't know if they're going to be able to capitalise on the movement or not, but in the end, we'll see. So let me skip forward a bit, because this does take a while. They're just kind of moving slightly, a little bit every time. So this is the charge phase. This is the only charge that happens here between my trolls and the zombie giant. So the trolls got regeneration, but the zombie giant is just far stronger in terms of I guess durability. So we'll see how that goes, because he also has a putrid stench, and my trolls do not have that. So we'll see how well that goes, don't we? Move up my ordinary goblin spears to kind of give an awkward time to the enemy zombies. You're not trying to force the zombies into positioning slightly differently, maybe out-positioning themselves to allow me to charge into the side with my goblin shaman. That's the plan here. So we'll see how well this goes. As you can see on the far right, the enemy, dire wolves are going around the side, trying to get my bolt throwers. We'll see how well that works. That's what it looks like anyway. Maybe they're just hiding. We'll see. So as you can see, I'm just moving up my goblin shaman to get a bit of a charge, maybe next turn on the side of those zombies. So we'll see how well that goes. So as you can see, let me, yep, there we go. And then the enemies are moving their bolt thrower. Yep, there we go. I give primal fury to these guys, and then the enemies move their catapult. So after moving the catapult, they shot at my, orc warriors, and then the orc warriors took a bunch of damage. It's really unfortunate. As you can see, I lost 4 models there. That's really painful. That hurts a lot. I just decided to shoot the catapult because there's nothing else for me to shoot. That's what I did. And then the enemy direwolves, they're trying to get a bit of a side charge in on me. That's it. And so they didn't really move much from where they were previously, but yeah, that is what happened. And then, yep, that's they gave extra movement to the catapult, which isn't useful right now. But their lord can in fact charge the side of my orc warrior. So let's see how this goes. The trolls have primal fury, so they've got rerolls. So that counteracts the stench from the zombie giant. So he does take an additional wound there. It's a bit unfortunate it was only a 1, but we did quite well. We got 5 damage off, and then that 1 from crumbling. Gonna counteract the enemy's zombies with my own goblin spear mob. Not gonna charge in my lord in there. I'm gonna save him for later. Don't want to take unnecessary damage on him and then leave him weakened. So yeah, we'll see how well this goes. And yeah, I don't have any more charges to declare because my trolls are still stuck with the zombie giant. The enemies are still attacking my orc warriors, so we'll see how well this goes. So as you can see, I'm just going to skip through this. Okay, there we go. So this is after the charges have been made. And yeah, just kind of using my bolt throwers to try and pepper down the catapult. There's nothing really else for me to shoot. So yeah, just going to shoot a bunch of shots, I guess. Nothing else to add here, really. I decided to move my catapult slightly down, and then this is where I'm attacking the zombies. So as you can see, I got quite a few attacks off on the zombies, and then my goblin mob does really well over here. They save a lot of those. So and then the zombies crumble. They lose an entire row. That's really nice for me, especially with how wide they are. Very, very nice indeed. And then here we are. Unfortunately, the orc warriors are just not going to last over here. So while that's happening, I guess I could talk about baby powder. So there was a really bad contamination with baby powder and asbestos. So Johnson & Johnson's, they had to stop the sales of their baby powder because of the stuff that makes up the baby powder. It's commonly found with natural forming asbestos and stuff like that. So unfortunately, a lot of babies supposedly got bad health problems because of that. Johnson & Johnson basically had to settle out of court because of that, and I just find that crazy. That wasn't even that late, to be fair. It was like 2000s, I think. That just shows you how in some ways the world just doesn't change from the 1930s, where you used to use what was it? Used to use that nuclear powder. You know, the stuff that uranium. I'm pretty sure they used to. Yeah, they used to use uranium in the 1930s for fancy glassware, because glassware in the 1930s you could make it glow with some uranium. So you know, it's yeah, very very fancy glassware, that's for sure. This is where the enemies make a mistake, I guess, because they moved the you know, they moved the wolves instead of their lord. So this is why I just shoot their lord with my bolt thrower and deals additional damage to them. So that's really unfortunate for the enemies. So they're going to try to shoot me again, my bolt throwers with their, you know, catapult. So we'll see how well that works. I wonder if it's going to go well for them or not. Just going to skip through this. So there we go. Yeah. I give another primal fury to my trolls over here. No wait. Do I? No, I finished with the primal furies. I already used up the 2 primal furies. So I just give the troll a hex. So because the enemies took a bunch of damage, I'm pretty sure they're just going to use healing on themselves over here. They spent quite a while just kind of you know, repositioning themselves back and forth. So yeah, and yeah, we'll see how well that goes. So yeah, I finally killed the giant over here. It's very nice. He only had 2 wounds because the enemies didn't heal him. And then yeah, my goblin mob over here just attacking the you know, the zombies. It doesn't go too well, but I'm pretty sure they still survive. I'm pretty sure they don't. Well, I could be wrong. And yeah, it's a 3. That's very lucky. Yeah, could have definitely botched that 6 save, so the fact that they didn't is really nice. So as you can see, the enemies are back. They got, you know, 3 models again. That's 1 more than they previously had, plus an additional wound. So, you know, they got like 3 wounds back there. So yeah, that's very powerful for sure. Oh no, I think they just got 1 model back. I think that is what happened. So yeah, they healed themselves up. Yeah, you can see that. So let's skip through that slightly. So as you can see, they charge into me. The wolves charge into my bolt thrower. It's a bit unfortunate. I'm going to hex the enemies. Try to get a few more attacks off, I guess. I'm not charging them to allow my back row to attack. And yeah, we'll see how well that goes. My trolls are preparing to attack the dire wolves. So yeah, we'll definitely see how this goes. And they decide to hex my goblin mob. I don't know why they did that. They should probably hex the bolt thrower. But, you know, I'm not about to complain about the enemy's choices in movement. So let's talk some more about that, you know, radiation-based, you know, glassware. I'm pretty sure radiation, like... you know, pretty sure it was also used in, you know, to make fancy plates, specifically like bright reds and orange. Pretty sure that's where it was also used in. So, so if you have any sort of like fancy plates from the 1930s and bright red or bright orange, then there's a high probability that if you take a Geiger counter to them, they'll, you know, have a bit of a ding in it, you know, a bit of that, you know, confident Chernobyl sound. Where it just kind of goes beep 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 beep, you know, that sort of stuff. It's really yeah, interesting how people used to use dangerous stuff that they used to use stuff that they used to think was safe and now completely dangerous. So yeah, kind of like those tobacco filters that used to be made out of asbestos. It's supposed to be better for you than, you know, the standard filters, but you know, breathing in a bunch of small asbestos fibers is apparently not that great for you. So yeah. It's a bit unfortunate. So yeah, let's see this, and yeah, we did really good here over there. Yeah, 5+ saves, and we saved 3 of those. That's absolutely massive for my goblin shaman and his retinue. It's absolutely crazy, that's for sure. Although, with the recent updates, the goblin shaman wouldn't exactly die if his entire retinue dies, but it still kind of helps him out if he doesn't, yeah, if he's not alone by himself. So the enemies are getting some capture points. So it's gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna move myself up slightly. And then this is the attack phase. The enemies are attacking my goblin mob and they completely decimate it. But, you know, that's kind of to be expected. These are, you know, enemy, you know, dread knights. These are dread knights with their enemy vampire lord. I'm pretty sure that's, yeah, it's the vampire knight captain. So it's obviously quite strong. She is definitely quite strong, that's for sure. Especially buffed up and with a bunch of spells on her, you know, disposal. Those goblin mob really didn't stand a chance over there. It's a bit of a shame that they died, but it was to be expected. Now I'm going to move my guy up, so this is going to counteract the enemy capping their circle. So it should be kind of neutral, I guess. We'll see how well this goes. Enemies are like turning around, thinking about whether to attack me or not. So this is what happens. So yeah, the enemies move all the way back here to attack my, you know, bolt thrower, or maybe attack my trolls, and I just move my lord behind, and I capture this circle, and I also threaten the enemies. So we'll see how well this goes. As you can see, the enemies are really in an unfavourable position because I can just charge them in the back and prevent that. them from attacking me in the back and, you know, prevent them from capping any circle. So we'll see how this goes. So as you can see, my trolls, they attack these guys, the final dire wolf, which is really a bit unfortunate that they didn't move out fully last time. And there we go. This is the end of the battle. I got 100 points from that, so 50 points for capping both circles. Yeah, the enemies already had 100 points because of that, you know, time where I slowly move my bolt thrower up. So this is what it looks like. And then yeah, this is the end game statistics. I did in fact win this, and I did in fact get points for this. As you can see, it says here that points from objectives only 50, and points from objectives for the enemies is 100. So it says close defeat here, but over here, I'm pretty sure that it says that this was a victory. So even though, you know, it's a bit of a, yeah, it says a bit victory. So even though this is a bit awkward, I did win this, and I did get, in fact, get points for this. So yeah, and yeah, I'm quite happy about this. I'm not too, you know, too upset about this. So yeah, just a bit of a visual error. But yeah, I did get points for everything, and yeah, here's my points. So yeah, win against them. So 25 points. And let's move on to the next battle. Hopefully this time within the actual game, which I can talk about, because this has been a bit awkward, wasn't it? Okay, right then, welcome back to this second battle, and we have my Alpha Army fighting against the enemy's Alpha Army. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to really go over this army too much. I got 2 eagles, I got 1 bolt thrower, I got 2 units of spears, and you know, I got my, you know, elf mage on a you know, griffin with a radiant shield and an arcane web. I'm not going to lie, as I've said before, this army is absolute crap, so, you know, I'm just going to talk about it and some of the things I dislike about it, I guess. So, there we go. Wow, so the capture points are actually now in the replays. That's very nice, indeed. So I move my units up to capture that. I, you know, web the elf lancers on this side, trying to prevent them from charging anything, really. So we'll see how all this goes, and yeah, the enemies capture their control point. I move up my eagle slightly to maybe, you know, try to get an angle, but it doesn't work out because the enemies can still charge me because they were webbed, and web doesn't work on the charge phase. So I charge them back. This becomes kind of a contested egg, I'm pretty sure. So there we go. And then over here, contest with the enemy lord, and my elf spears do a fight against the elf lancers. The bolt thrower doesn't really have a job right now, so I buffed up these guys with the, you know, buffed them up with the radiant shield. So I don't know, I probably should have buffed up these elf spears over here so that they were more protected against the elf lancers, because I really wanted to win this side, but we'll see how well that goes. I'm sure you're expecting to have a bunch of bad rolls for me now. Yeah, I do in fact have a bunch of bad rolls against these elf spears over here. As you can see, a bunch of attacks going through, and the enemies just save them all. And even though I save everything myself, the enemies just dove out. They have good morale. Yeah, they save on a 7, so it's a bit of a waste of my time, and the enemies just destroyed that eagle. There's nothing I can do over here. And instead, these elf spears, they get demolished as well. They do, yeah, they get rid of 2 units for the elf lancers, but unfortunately that's not enough. So that's, if you want to copy, you know, build for the elves, this is a good build to copy, you know, elf noble in a unit of elf lancers with 2 elf lancers supported by elf spears and a bolt thrower. Like, this is the perfect build for the elves. Because, yeah, as I'm going to show you in another battle, the archers, they're not great for the elves. They don't really have the punching power. Yeah, you can't really buff them up too much. I'll talk about that later, but for now, this army, the flanking army, I guess that you could call this for the elves, it's not great. The eagles, they don't really stand the chance against any enemies. They cost way too much, the same as a bolt thrower. Yeah, the only good thing is that they only take up half a unit slot. So, you know, for 2 eagles, you only take up 1 single unit slot. That's the only good thing about them. And unfortunately, they just don't do their worth, you know. This eagle got absolutely annihilated, but that's kind of whatever. But it's this eagle, it's doing quite well holding off this unit of elf lancers, but unfortunately it's just not enough. The enemies here, they just destroy these spears, they run them down. And my lord over here, he tries his best, but the enemies just turn around and face him. This bolt thrower, again, I don't know why, but for some reason I get unlucky with my rolls. Like, look at this. So, you know, I roll a 4, the enemies get a perfect 6, but when the enemies shoot me, you know, I always fail my saves, so, you know, that's why it's on, you know, 1 out of 5 wounds. So it's just really unfortunate that the enemies get such good rolls and I don't. And now the enemies are moving around to try and attack me. Yeah, here they are, you know, the spears. I got 9 spears, they got 5 spears, and somehow we're still losing. That's, yeah, it's just really unfortunate in terms of rolls, and this is contested, so the enemies are just getting points this entire time. And it's just unfortunate. Now they charge me in the side and they charge my bolt thrower. So I'm pretty sure you know that where this ends. Now I'm just going to speed this through. As you can see, yeah, these guys, they stand their ground for a while, but not for long, and they're out. Then this bolt thrower also gets destroyed, but not before my eagle finally has a final say in this. So yeah, there he goes. There he goes, he's routed off the field. Okay, and then, yeah, this is basically the end of the battle. This is where the game ends for me. So let's move on to a different replay with a different elf army that I have. Okay, right then, welcome back. So this is a different elf army that I brought in. Hello? What is happening? What is happening? Okay, right then, so yeah, looks like that replay was deleted. So while this happens, I don't know what the hell is happening, but while this happens, you know, more bugs with the replay system, but yeah, while this happens, I guess I can talk about archers. So I played another replay with the elven archers, and the elven archers really didn't do that much damage against even fellow elves. You know, it was really unfortunate. I can't imagine what they do against the dwarves. So if you want to play a ranged faction right now, the dwarves are the best faction to play. They got by far the best cannons, and they got by far the best units, ranged units. So just play the dwarves if you want to play a ranged faction. The elves are really not it. The only reason why you'd play the elves is because they got really good elf lancers right now. So especially buffed up with like an elf mage or something, I'm sure you can make quite a few good plays. Maybe actually remove the griffin and put him on like a chariot, so that it's cheaper. Because yeah, there's just no reason to keep a really expensive mount. And yeah, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.